Dr. Sarah Chen walked into the underground laboratory at 3 in the morning. She could not sleep again. The numbers on her computer screen had been bothering her for weeks. Something was wrong with their experiment, but she could not figure out what. The laboratory was buried deep under the mountains of Switzerland. It was part of CERN, the famous physics research center, but Sarah's team worked in a secret section that most people did not know about. For 3 years, they had been trying to build something that everyone said was impossible. They wanted to make a machine that could travel faster than light. Other scientists laughed at their work. They said faster-than-light travel was just science fiction. It could never be real. But Sarah believed they were wrong. She had studied the old theories of Albert Einstein and new ideas about quantum physics. She thought there might be a way to bend space and time. Sarah's team had built a strange machine. It looked like a metal ring the size of a small car. Inside the ring, they created special fields using Earth's magnetic forces. They also used exotic matter that they collected from the radiation belts around Earth. Most people thought this exotic matter was useless. Sarah thought it might be the key to everything. Tonight, Sarah noticed something different in the data. The energy patterns were changing in ways they had never seen before. She called her assistant, Dr. Marcus Webb. "Marcus, look at these readings," Sarah said when he arrived. "The quantum field is doing something new." Marcus rubbed his tired eyes and looked at the computer screen. The numbers showed energy levels that should have been impossible. "This has to be a mistake," he said. "Our equipment must be broken," but Sarah was not so sure. She had checked the equipment many times. Everything was working perfectly. The impossible readings were real. Far away from Earth in a part of space humans had never seen, alien creatures were watching. They belonged to something called the Hegemony Council. This was a group of 7 different alien races that ruled most of the galaxy. They were very old and very powerful. One of these aliens was named Veltar. He belonged to a race called the Zephyrians. They looked like tall, blue-skinned humans with 4 arms. Veltar's job was to watch primitive planets and write reports about them. He had been watching Earth for 50 years. Veltar thought humans were interesting but stupid. They fought wars with each other. They damaged their own planet. They had not even learned to work together. Their technology was primitive. They still used chemical rockets to barely reach their own moon. Veltar estimated that humans would need at least 1,000 more years to develop faster-than-light travel. The Hegemony Council had strict rules about primitive species like humans. They watched them from far away but never made contact. They waited until a species developed proper technology and stopped being violent. Only then would they welcome them into galactic society. This had happened many times before. The Korath took 15,000 years to develop faster-than-light travel. The Altarians took 50,000 years. Even the smartest species needed at least 5,000 years. Humans had only been in space for about 70 years. They were babies compared to the great civilizations of the galaxy. Back on Earth, Sarah decided to run one more test. She increased the power to their machine slowly. The exotic matter began to glow with a strange light. The quantum field started to pulse in rhythm. Something was building up inside the ring. "Sarah, I think we should stop," Marcus said. He was worried about the energy levels. But Sarah could not stop now. She felt like they were close to something amazing. She pushed the power higher. Suddenly, the air inside the ring began to shimmer. It looked like heat waves rising from hot pavement. Then the shimmering grew stronger. Reality itself seemed to bend and twist inside the ring. "My God," Marcus whispered. "Are we actually doing it?" Sarah's heart was beating fast. The energy readings were going crazy. Their machine was creating something that should not exist. It was making a bubble in space-time itself. They had built a small probe to test their theories. It was about the size of a basketball and filled with cameras and sensors. Sarah had programmed it to fly through the ring and take measurements. "Launch the probe," Sarah said. Marcus pressed a button. The probe shot forward into the shimmering air inside the ring. For a moment, nothing happened. Then there was a flash of light and the probe disappeared completely. "Where did it go?" Marcus asked. Sarah was checking her instruments. According to these readings, it jumped to the Alpha Centauri star system. "That's impossible. Alpha Centauri is 4 light years away." "I know, but look at this." Sarah pointed to her screen. "The probe is sending back signals. It's really there." They waited for 2 hours. Then there was another flash of light inside the ring. The probe appeared again, floating in the air where it had started. Sarah and Marcus downloaded the probe's data with shaking hands. The cameras showed pictures of alien stars. The sensors had recorded measurements from the Alpha Centauri system. The probe had traveled 4 light years in just 2 hours. They had done it. They had achieved faster-than-light travel, but they did not know that their success had consequences. When their machine created the space-time bubble, it sent out energy waves that traveled faster than light itself. These waves spread across the entire galaxy like ripples in a pond. Every advanced alien civilization had sensors that watched for these energy signatures. When a species first achieved faster-than-light travel, the whole galaxy knew about it immediately. In his observation post near Earth, Commander Veltar was drinking something like coffee when his instruments started screaming warnings. He looked at his screens and could not believe what he saw. A massive, faster-than-light energy signature had just erupted from Earth. It was stronger and cleaner than anything his own people could produce. But that was impossible. Humans were primitive. They barely had fusion power. They had never even left their own solar system. Veltar ran the sensor readings through his computer 3 times. Each time he got the same impossible result. Humans had somehow developed advanced faster-than-light technology. Across the galaxy, other alien commanders were having the same shock. On 7 different worlds, emergency meetings were being called. The Hegemony Council had not met in emergency session for 400 years. But they would meet tomorrow. The impossible had happened. The violent, backward humans had somehow jumped directly to advanced technology. They had broken every rule about how species were supposed to develop. And nobody knew what would happen next. The great chamber of the Hegemony Council had been empty for 400 years. Now, representatives from 7 different alien races were gathering in emergency session. The chamber was a massive sphere floating in space, built from materials that could survive the explosion of stars. It was neutral ground where the greatest powers in the galaxy met to discuss important matters. Emperor Thakmor of the Korath Empire was the first to arrive. The Korath looked like giant lizards that walked on 2 legs. They had ruled 1,000 star systems for 50,000 years. Thakmor's scales were dark green with age, and his yellow eyes showed both wisdom and anger. The Altarian Confederacy sent their prime speaker, a being called Zaylin. The Altarians looked almost human, but their skin was silver and their hair was white as snow. They were proud of their technology and their long history. They believed that all species should develop slowly and carefully the way they had done. From the crystal worlds came the ethereals. These beings were made of living crystal that sang when they moved. Their representative was a tall, transparent figure called Harmony of Deep Thoughts. The ethereals thought in perfect logic and mathematics. They could not understand emotions or chaos. The Drakmor Imperium sent their greatest general, war leader Gorth. The Drakmor were warriors who conquered worlds for fun. They looked like humans crossed with tigers with sharp teeth and claws. Gorth wore armor made from the bones of creatures he had killed in battle. The other 3 races also sent their best representatives. Together, these 7 species controlled most of the galaxy. They had rules about how the universe should work. New species were supposed to develop slowly. They were supposed to learn wisdom before they gained power. They were supposed to be peaceful before they got dangerous weapons. Humans had broken all these rules. Commander Veltar stood in the center of the chamber. He was shaking as he gave his report. "Honorable council members," he said, "I have monitored the human species for 50 years. Yesterday, they were still using primitive chemical rockets. Today, they have faster-than-light technology that surpasses our own." Emperor Thakmor's tail thrashed with anger. "You must be mistaken. Humans are barbarians. They fight wars over pieces of colored cloth. They poison their own air and water. They have never even visited another star." "That is what I believe too," Veltar replied. "But the sensor readings do not lie. The energy signature came from Earth. It was a clean, stable, faster-than-light field. Our best engineers could not build something so advanced." Prime Speaker Zaylin stood up slowly. "This violates every law of natural development. My people took 50,000 years to achieve faster-than-light travel. We learned wisdom first, then gained power. We studied every aspect of physics before we dared to bend space and time." Harmony of Deep Thought sang a note of pure confusion. "The mathematics do not work," the crystal being chimed. "Species development follows logical patterns. Humans lack the knowledge base to achieve such technology. Therefore, they cannot have achieved it. Yet the evidence says they have. This creates a logical paradox." War leader Gorth slammed his clawed hand on the table. Perhaps they stole the technology. Or maybe some other species gave it to them. Humans are too stupid to invent faster-than-light travel themselves. But Veltar shook his head. The energy signature is completely unique. It does not match any known faster-than-light technology in our databases. Whatever the humans built, they invented it themselves. While the Alien Council argued, Dr. Sarah Chen was having the best day of her life. News of their breakthrough had spread through Earth's scientific community like wildfire. World leaders were calling her. Other scientists were begging to see her data. The whole planet was buzzing with excitement, but Sarah was not interested in fame. She was interested in building better machines. The successful test had taught her team many new things about faster-than-light travel. They were already designing improved versions of their space-time drive. "Marcus, look at this," Sarah said, pointing to her computer screen. "If we increase the exotic matter density by 30%, we can create stable wormholes instead of just temporary jumps." Marcus was studying the probe's data from Alpha Centauri. "Sarah, this opens up incredible possibilities. We could build ships that travel between stars as easily as driving across town." Dr. Elena Vasquez from the space agency had joined their team. She was a former astronaut who understood spacecraft design. "How big could we make these drives?" she asked. Sarah did some quick calculations. "Based on our current understanding, we could build a drive large enough for a ship the size of an aircraft carrier. Maybe larger." "How long would it take to build such a ship?" Elena asked. "With the world's resources behind us? Maybe 6 months for the first prototype." Elena smiled. "Then we better get started." Back in the Hegemony Council chamber, the arguments were getting louder. None of the alien races could agree on what to do about humanity. "We should destroy them before they become dangerous," War Leader Gorth growled. "Primitive species with advanced weapons are always trouble. That would violate our most sacred laws." Prime Speaker Zaylin replied coldly. "We do not destroy species for achieving technological progress," Emperor Thakmor hissed thoughtfully. "But we cannot ignore them either. If humans develop interstellar travel, they will spread across the galaxy. They are violent and unpredictable. They could disturb the peace we have maintained for thousands of years." Harmony of Deep Thought sang another confused note. "I still do not understand how this happened. Humans show no signs of the mental development required for such advanced physics." Veltar had been quiet during the arguments, but now he spoke up. "Honorable Council members, there is something else. Our long-range sensors show unusual activity in the Earth system. The humans appear to be building something large in orbit around their planet." "What kind of something?" Thakmor demanded. "Based on the energy signatures, it looks like a ship. A very large ship with faster-than-light capability." The chamber fell silent. If humans were building interstellar ships, everything was about to change. "How long until this ship is operational?" Zaylin asked quietly. "Our computers estimate 4 to 6 Earth months," Veltar replied. War Leader Gorth stood up, his armor clanking. "Then we have 4 months to decide what to do. Do we welcome them as equals or do we prepare for war?" Emperor Thakmor's yellow eyes gleamed. "First, we need more information. Veltar, increase surveillance of Earth. I want to know everything about this new technology. How does it work? Can we duplicate it? What are the humans planning? And if they try to leave their star system?" Gorth asked. The chamber was quiet for a long moment. Finally, Harmony of Deep Thought sang a low, uncertain note. "Then we will face something that has never happened before in galactic history. A primitive species with advanced technology, free to roam the stars." The council session ended without any decisions being made. Each race returned to their home worlds to prepare for an uncertain future. Some prepared for war, others prepared for diplomacy. All of them knew that the galaxy was about to change in ways they could not predict. On Earth, Sarah Chen worked late into the night, unaware that alien eyes were watching her every move. She was too excited about the future to worry about the unknown. Humanity was about to take its first steps into a much larger universe, and that universe was not ready for them. Captain Maria Vasquez floated in the command center of humanity's first interstellar ship. The UES Prometheus was massive, almost 2 kilometers long and built like a flying city. It housed 3,000 people, including scientists, diplomats, engineers, and crew members. Most importantly, it carried a complete record of human culture, art, science, and history. The ship had taken 8 months to build, working around the clock with resources from every nation on Earth. The faster-than-light drive was based on Dr. Sarah Chen's breakthrough, but improved and scaled up to move something the size of a small space station. "Captain, we're approaching the target system," announced Lieutenant Commander Jackson from the navigation station. Kepler 442 is dead ahead. Maria had studied the files on this star system many times. It had several planets that looked perfect for human colonies. The worlds had the right temperature, atmosphere, and gravity. Best of all, their telescopes showed no signs of alien civilization. It seemed like the perfect place for humanity's first settlement beyond Earth. "Take us out of faster-than-light travel," Maria ordered. "All sensors active. Let's see what we're dealing with." The Prometheus dropped back into normal space near a yellow sun, much like Earth's. The crew began their scanning procedures, looking for the planets they had seen through telescopes. Everything appeared exactly as expected, but they were not alone. 50 million kilometers away, Commander Veltar was having the worst day of his career. He commanded a Zephyrian research station that had been studying this star system for 20 years. The Zephyrians were interested in the unusual way this sun's magnetic field interacted with its planets. It was a quiet, boring assignment that let Veltar work on his scientific papers. Then his sensors detected a massive, faster-than-light arrival. "Commander," his assistant Kreval called out in panic. "Unknown vessel dropping out of FTL. Energy signature matches the readings from Earth." Veltar felt his foreheart skip several beats. The humans had actually built an interstellar ship. They had traveled 26 light-years from their home world, and they were here, in his quiet research system, looking very much like they owned the place. "Size and capabilities?" Veltar asked, trying to keep his voice steady. "Massive, sir. 2 kilometers long. Energy output is off our measurement scale. The FTL drive signature is unlike anything in our databases." Veltar stared at his screens in disbelief. 6 months ago, humans were using chemical rockets. Now they had built a ship that made his own vessel look like a child's toy. On the Prometheus, the crew had detected the alien station. "Captain, we have a contact," reported Sensor Officer Chen. "Artificial structure, definitely not human. Range 50 million kilometers." Maria felt her pulse quicken. First contact with an alien species. Every human who had ever looked at the stars had wondered about this moment. Now it was happening to her crew. "All stop. Defensive systems on standby, but do not target the alien vessel. Communications, can you establish contact?" Communications Officer Torres worked at her station for several minutes. "Ma'am, I'm picking up electromagnetic transmissions from the contact. The patterns suggest intelligence, but I can't decode the language. Keep trying. Science team, I want a full analysis of that structure. What are we dealing with?" Dr. Elizabeth Park, the mission's chief scientist, studied the sensor readings. "Captain, based on the design and materials, I'd estimate their technology is roughly equivalent to ours. Maybe slightly less advanced. The power output from their engines suggests they have faster-than-light capability, but not as efficient as our system." Maria was surprised. She had expected any alien species to be far more advanced than humanity. The idea that they might be technological equals was something no one had prepared for. Meanwhile, Veltar was sending emergency messages to the Hegemony Council. His carefully worded reports about primitive humans had become a cosmic joke. The species he had been casually monitoring now had ships that outclassed his own. "Sir, the human vessel is broadcasting on multiple frequencies," Kreval reported. "They appear to be trying to establish communication." Veltar knew the protocols. Contact with primitive species was supposed to happen slowly and carefully, with the advanced species in complete control. The primitive species was supposed to be overwhelmed by superior technology and grateful for guidance. This was nothing like that. "Open a channel," Veltar ordered. "Let's see what these humans want." The first communication between humans and aliens happened through mathematics and basic physics. Both species sent simple equations and scientific constants. Within an hour, they had established a basic translation protocol. Maria found herself on a video call with a tall, blue-skinned alien who looked remarkably human, except for having 4 arms. Commander Veltar was equally shocked to see that humans looked almost exactly like young Zephyrians, except for having only 2 arms and different colored skin. "I am Captain Maria Vasquez of the United Earth ship Prometheus," Maria said slowly, hoping her words would translate correctly. I am Commander Veltar of the Zephyrian Science Corps, the alien replied. His translated voice sounded nervous. I must ask, how did you develop faster-than-light travel so quickly? Maria was confused by the question. Quickly? Our scientists have been working on this problem for decades, but your species only achieved spaceflight 70 of your years ago. Most species require thousands of years to develop interstellar capability. Most species? Maria leaned forward in her chair. How many alien species are there? Veltar realized he had said too much. According to protocol, primitive species were supposed to learn about galactic civilization gradually. But humans were not primitive anymore. They had technology that matched or exceeded most hegemony worlds. Captain Vasquez, this is a complicated situation. Your species has achieved something that should not have been possible. The galactic community is confused by your rapid development. Galactic community? Dr. Park interrupted from beside Maria. Are you saying there's some kind of galactic government? Veltar's translator was working perfectly, but he wished it wasn't. Every answer he gave would create more questions. The careful first contact procedures developed over millions of years were useless in this situation. Yes, there is a Council of Advanced Species that maintains order in this part of the galaxy. The Hegemony Council has existed for over 100,000 years. Maria exchanged glances with her senior officers. This was far beyond what they had prepared for. Earth's first contact protocols assumed they would meet one alien species at a time. Nobody had planned for discovering an entire galactic civilization. Commander Veltar, we came to this system looking for worlds suitable for colonization. We had no idea anyone was already here. Colonization? Veltar's four eyes widened. You're planning to establish settlements outside your home system? Of course. Earth is getting crowded and we need resources. We're not planning to take anyone's worlds, just empty planets that aren't being used. Veltar felt a headache building behind his eyes. Empty planets weren't really empty in galactic terms. Most systems were claimed by one empire or another, even if they weren't actively settled. The hegemony had complex treaties about territorial rights and colonization procedures. Captain, I think there are many things we need to discuss. Your species' rapid development has created diplomatic complications. What kind of complications? The kind that could lead to war or peace depending on how the next few conversations go. Maria felt the weight of history settling on her shoulders. She had volunteered to command humanity's first interstellar mission, expecting to explore empty worlds and maybe find simple alien life. Instead, she found herself in the middle of galactic politics that could determine the future of the human race. Commander Veltar, I think we need to arrange a proper meeting. Face-to-face with full diplomatic protocols. Agreed, Captain. But I should warn you, the galactic community is not prepared for a species like yours. You may find that your rapid technological development has made you some very nervous neighbors. As the two ships moved closer to each other, both crews prepared for a meeting that would change everything. Neither humans nor Zephyrians realized they were about to rewrite the rules of galactic civilization. The age of human isolation was over. What came next would determine whether humanity's entrance onto the galactic stage would bring peace or chaos to the stars. The meeting between Captain Maria Vasquez and Commander Veltar took place aboard a neutral shuttle halfway between their ships. Both crews were nervous, but the humans and Zephyrians quickly discovered they had much in common. They both breathed similar air, ate similar food, and shared a love of science and exploration. What amazed Veltar most was how quickly the humans learned. Within hours, they were asking detailed questions about galactic politics, trade routes, and technology standards. Dr. Park took notes on everything while asking follow-up questions that showed deep understanding. Your species learns very fast, Veltar observed. Most species take years to understand basic galactic concepts. Maria smiled. We're used to adapting quickly. Our history has taught us that the species that learns fastest survives longest. Over the next few days, Veltar shared carefully selected information about the galaxy. He told them about the 7 great empires, the millions of inhabited worlds, and the complex web of treaties that kept peace between the stars. The humans absorbed it all like sponges soaking up water. But the real surprise came when Dr. Park began showing Veltar how human faster-than-light technology worked. This is impossible, Veltar said, studying the technical diagrams. Your drive creates stable space-time distortions without using trilithium crystals or quantum phase discriminators. What are those? Dr. Park asked. Essential components for faster-than-light travel. Every known FTL drive requires them. Well, ours doesn't. We use exotic matter harvested from our planet's radiation belts, combined with magnetic field manipulation. Veltar stared at the human scientist. You're using your planet's natural magnetic field as part of your FTL system? Yes, Earth has an unusually strong magnetic field. We learned to work with it instead of against it. This was completely different from how galactic civilization approached technology. Most species develop faster than light travel by following established scientific principles that had been proven over millions of years. Humans had ignored those principles and invented something entirely new. How did you know this would work? Veltar asked. Dr. Park laughed. We didn't. Dr. Chen just had a feeling that it might work, so we tried it. A feeling? Yes, intuition. A gut instinct Veltar did not understand. Zephyrian science was based on careful logic and proven mathematics. They never made important decisions based on feelings. But humans seemed to use intuition as naturally as breathing. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Dr. Sarah Chen was working on improvements to the faster-than-light drive. News of the successful contact with aliens had energized the entire planet. Every nation was contributing resources to build more interstellar ships. Sarah's new design could create wormholes that stayed open for hours instead of minutes. This would allow massive cargo ships to move resources between star systems. She had also figured out how to make the drive smaller and more efficient. The alien data is fascinating, Sarah told her expanded team. Their technology is more advanced in some ways, but they've been using the same basic principles for thousands of years. We can learn from them, but we might also have things to teach them. Dr. Marcus Webb was studying Zephyrian mathematics. Sarah, look at this. Their equations are incredibly complex, but they all follow strict logical progressions. They never make intuitive leaps the way we do. What do you mean? When you invented our FTL drive, you combined Einstein's relativity with quantum mechanics in ways that violated established theory. You made creative connections that pure logic would never suggest. The Zephyrians would never think to try something like that. Sarah nodded thoughtfully. Maybe that's why we developed FTL so fast. We didn't know it was supposed to be impossible. Back in the Kepler 442 system, word of the human contact was spreading through galactic communication networks. The Hegemony Council was receiving reports from dozens of species who were both fascinated and worried about these new aliens. The crystalline ethereals were particularly confused. Harmony of Deep Thought sent a message that translated as pure mathematical bewilderment. Humans solve complex problems using non-logical processes. They make technological breakthroughs through creative intuition rather than systematic research. This should not work. Yet their results exceed our own capabilities. How is this possible? Emperor Thakmor of the Korath was more practical in his concerns. These humans are unpredictable. Our scouts report they are already building more ships. Within a year, they could have 12 vessels exploring different star systems. We cannot monitor them all. War leader Gorth of the Drakmor was preparing for the worst. If humans spread across the galaxy as quickly as they develop technology, they could control hundreds of systems within a decade. We should act now before they become too powerful. But Prime Speaker Zaylan of the Altarians had a different perspective. Perhaps we should learn from them instead of fearing them. If human methods can achieve such rapid progress, we might benefit from understanding their approach. The debate raged across the galaxy, but events were moving faster than political discussions. Human ships were already under construction in Earth orbit. The second vessel, UES Magellan, would be ready in 3 months. The third and fourth ships were close behind. Dr. Park had returned to the Prometheus with detailed information about galactic civilization. She spent her days in video conferences with Earth's leaders, explaining what humanity was about to face. The good news is that we're not behind technologically, she reported. In some areas, we're actually ahead. Our FTL drives are more efficient than anything the galaxy has seen. What's the bad news? Asked President Chen of the Earth Federation. The bad news is that we're walking into a political situation that has been stable for thousands of years. Our arrival is going to disrupt everything. Some species will welcome us, others will see us as a threat. Captain Maria was developing friendships with Commander Veltar and his crew. The Zephyrians were generous with their knowledge and genuinely curious about human culture. But Veltar also shared his concerns about galactic politics. My government is divided, he admitted privately. Some officials want to welcome humanity as equals. Others think you're too dangerous to trust. Your rapid technological development scares them. We don't want to threaten anyone, Maria replied. We just want to explore and find new homes for our people. I believe you, but not everyone will. The galaxy has rules about how new species are supposed to behave. You're breaking all those rules simply by existing. As news of human capabilities spread, other alien species began sending ships to make contact. The Altarians arrived first, their silver vessels elegant and beautiful. They were followed by a Korath diplomatic ship that looked like a flying fortress. Each species reacted differently to meeting humans. The Altarians were impressed by human art and music, but puzzled by human science methods. The Korath respected human engineering skills, but worried about human unpredictability. Most surprising was the reaction from the Ethereals. When they finally arrived, their crystal ship sang with harmonious tones as it approached the Prometheus. But when they learned about human intuitive problem-solving, their song turned discordant. Logic and emotion cannot coexist in scientific method, their representative chimed through translators. Yet humans achieve logical results through emotional processes. This creates paradox in our understanding of reality. Dr. Park tried to explain human creativity to the crystal beings. We don't see logic and intuition as opposites. They work together. Logic gives us the foundation, but intuition helps us make connections that pure logic might miss. The ethereal's crystalline body flickered with confused patterns. This requires new mathematical models. Human cognition does not fit established psychological frameworks. Within 6 months of first contact, the Kepler 442 system had become a diplomatic hub. Ships from 5 different species orbited nearby as their crews studied human technology and culture. Trade negotiations were beginning, along with discussions about territorial rights and colonization treaties. But the real breakthrough came when Dr. Chen arrived aboard the newly completed UES Magellan. She brought with her the latest improvements to human FTL technology, including portable drives that could be installed on existing alien ships. We'd like to share this technology with our new friends, Dr. Chen announced at a gathering of alien representatives. Our drives could make your ships faster and more efficient. The offer shocked the galactic diplomats. Advanced technology was usually closely guarded. Species spent thousands of years developing their capabilities. They didn't just give away their secrets. But humans were different. They were willing to share their advantages in exchange for friendship and knowledge. This generous attitude began to change how the galaxy viewed the newcomers from Earth. Commander Veltar summed up the situation in his latest report to the Hegemony Council. Humans are unlike any species we have encountered. They develop technology through methods we do not understand. They make decisions based on intuition as much as logic. They are generous with their knowledge and quick to make friends. They are also completely unpredictable. Most importantly, they are here to stay. Human expansion into the galaxy is not a question of if, but when and how. We can welcome them as partners, or we can fight a war we might not win. I recommend partnership. The galaxy was beginning to realize that everything was about to change. The age of slow, predictable development was ending. The humans had arrived, and they were rewriting the rules of what was possible among the stars. 2 years after humanity's first faster-than-light journey, the galaxy was a different place. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the observation deck of the orbital city New Geneva, watching ships from a dozen different species dock at the massive space station. Human vessels worked alongside alien craft, their crews sharing technology and friendship in ways that would have been impossible just a few years earlier. Earth had become the center of a technological revolution. Human colonies now existed in 15 star systems, each one chosen carefully to avoid conflicts with existing alien territories. More importantly, human innovation had solved problems that had troubled galactic civilization for thousands of years. The biggest breakthrough came from an unexpected partnership. Dr. Chen had been working with Harmony of Deep Thoughts, the crystalline ethereal representative. Despite their completely different ways of thinking, they had found common ground in mathematics and physics. Your intuitive methods produce results that pure logic cannot achieve, Harmony chimed during one of their research sessions. But my logical processes can refine and improve your intuitive discoveries. Together we can accomplish more than either species could alone. Their collaboration produced the first truly universal translator. Previous translation devices worked slowly and made many mistakes. The new system combined human pattern recognition with ethereal mathematical precision to translate between any known languages instantly and perfectly. This changes everything, Commander Veltar observed when he tested the device. Communication barriers have limited galactic cooperation for millions of years. Now those barriers are gone. But translation was just the beginning. Human creativity combined with alien expertise was revolutionizing technology across the galaxy. Dr. Marcus Webb had partnered with Korath biologists to develop new medical treatments. The Korath understood biological systems better than any other species, but they approached problems with rigid thinking. Human flexibility helped them find new solutions to old diseases. We have been trying to cure Zephyrian scale rot for 3,000 years, explained Dr. S.S. Thak, a Korath physician. Human Dr. Webb suggested we try treating the immune system instead of the infection. The cure was discovered in 6 months. Similar partnerships were forming throughout human space. Altarian engineers worked with human designers to build more efficient spacecraft. Drakmor metallurgists learned human techniques for creating stronger armor. Even the proud ethereals admitted that human creativity enhanced their research. The transformation was not just technological. Human culture was spreading through the galaxy in ways that surprised everyone, including the humans themselves. Captain Maria Vasquez, now promoted to admiral, commanded the UES Enterprise, humanity's largest exploration vessel. She had visited over 50 alien worlds, and each one had taught her something new about the universe. The strangest thing is how much aliens love human music, she reported to Earth during one of her regular communications. I've seen Korath warriors crying during performances of Beethoven. Altarian children sing human lullabies their parents learned from our cultural exchanges. Dr. Elizabeth Park, now Director of Xenocultural Studies, had established research stations throughout human space. She was documenting how human and alien cultures influenced each other. We're creating something entirely new, she explained in her latest report. Not human culture or alien culture, but a blend that combines the best of both. Human creativity enhances alien wisdom, while alien experience guides human enthusiasm. The political changes were just as dramatic. The Hegemony Council had expanded for the first time in 50,000 years. Earth now held a permanent seat, with Dr. Chen serving as humanity's first galactic representative. The humans have earned their place through contribution, not conquest, admitted Emperor Thakmor during the ceremony that welcomed Earth to the Council. Their technology has benefited all species. Their diplomatic approach has prevented conflicts. Their presence makes the galaxy stronger. Not every species had accepted humanity easily. War leader Gorth of the Drakmor had initially prepared for conflict, expecting humans to be as aggressive as his own people. But human diplomacy and generosity had gradually won over even the most suspicious aliens. I do not understand these humans, Gorth told his advisors after spending a month observing human colonies. They have the technology to conquer worlds, but they choose to share resources instead. They could demand tribute from weaker species, but they offer aid without expecting payment. Either they are the wisest species in the galaxy or they are fools. His chief advisor, a veteran of many wars, replied thoughtfully, perhaps wisdom and foolishness look the same when viewed from a warrior's perspective. The greatest test of human diplomacy came when the Hegemony Council faced its first major crisis in centuries. A massive energy storm was approaching the Vega system, threatening to destroy 5 inhabited worlds. Traditional evacuation methods would save only a fraction of the population. We need a completely new approach, Prime Speaker Zaylin announced during the Emergency Council session. Conventional technology cannot handle an evacuation of this scale. Dr. Chen had been studying the problem for weeks. I have an idea, but it will require cooperation from every species in the Council. Her plan was ambitious beyond anything the galaxy had ever attempted. She wanted to use human FTL technology to create stable wormholes that could move entire populations instantly. But the power requirements were enormous. No single species had the resources needed. If we combine Altarian energy generation with Korath biological support systems, Drakmor structural engineering, ethereal computational power, Zephyrian coordination systems, and human FTL drives, we can save everyone, Dr. Chen explained. The plan required unprecedented cooperation. 7 different species had to work together perfectly, combining their technologies in ways that had never been tested. The margin for error was 0. War leader Gorth spoke for many when he expressed doubts. This plan requires us to trust each other completely. One mistake could kill millions. Are we ready for such responsibility? But the alternative was watching billions of people die. The council voted unanimously to attempt the rescue. The next 6 weeks saw the greatest engineering project in galactic history. Ships from every species converged on the Vega system, bringing technology and expertise from across the galaxy. Human coordinators worked with alien engineers to build something that had never existed before. A network of interconnected wormholes capable of moving entire planets' populations. Admiral Vasquez commanded the rescue operation from the bridge of a massive coordination ship, built specifically for this mission. Around her, humans and aliens worked side by side, their individual expertise combining into something greater than the sum of its parts. "All stations report ready," announced Lieutenant Torres, now serving as the Admiral's communications officer. "Power levels are stable, wormhole network is active, evacuation fleet is in position." The energy storm was only hours away. They had one chance to get this right. "Begin evacuation," Admiral Vasquez ordered. What followed was the most precisely coordinated operation in galactic history. Millions of people moved through wormholes in perfect synchronization. Entire cities were transported to safety in minutes instead of years. The combination of human innovation and alien expertise made the impossible routine. When the energy storm finally struck the Vega system, it found empty worlds. Every person, every important piece of technology, even most of the wildlife had been moved to safety. The success of the Vega evacuation became a turning point in galactic history. Species that had viewed each other with suspicion for millennia learned to work together as partners. The old model of isolated empires competing for resources was replaced by a new vision of cooperation and shared progress. Dr. Chen stood once again in the observation deck of New Geneva, but now she was looking at something that would have been unimaginable just a few years earlier. The space around Earth was filled with ships from dozens of species, all working together on projects that benefited everyone. "We did it," Dr. Marcus Webb said, joining her at the window. "We actually changed the galaxy." Sarah smiled as she watched human and alien crews working together to build humanity's first truly interstellar university. Students and teachers from across the galaxy would come here to share knowledge and develop new ideas. "No, we didn't change the galaxy," she replied. "We helped it change itself. All we did was show everyone what was possible when different species worked together instead of apart." A soft chime indicated an incoming message. It was from Harmony of Deep Thoughts, whose latest project involved mapping previously unknown regions of space using combined human ethereal technology. "Dr. Chen, we have discovered something remarkable. Our joint sensors have detected signs of ancient civilizations in the galactic core. There may be species out there even older than the Hegemony Council. Shall we begin planning an expedition?" Sarah laughed with pure joy. Even after revolutionizing galactic civilization, there were still new mysteries to explore, new friends to meet, and new problems to solve. "Yes, let's go see what else is out there," she replied. "After all, the universe is a big place, and we're just getting started." As she watched the stars, Sarah Chen reflected on how much had changed since that night when she first detected impossible energy readings in her underground laboratory. Humanity had gone from primitive isolation to galactic leadership in just a few short years. But the most important change was not technological or political. It was the realization that different species working together could accomplish things that none of them could achieve alone. Human creativity combined with alien wisdom was rewriting the rules of what was possible. The galaxy was no longer a collection of competing empires. It had become a community of partners, exploring the universe together and making each other stronger in the process. And at the center of this transformation were the humans from a small blue world, whose greatest gift to the galaxy was not their technology, but their willingness to share it with friends. The age of human isolation was over. The age of galactic cooperation had begun, and the best was yet to come.